Mathias had nothing. Born into a home filled with cruelty, he learned from an early age that kindness was a rare luxury. His so-called parents were nothing but tormentors, treating him as a burden rather than a child. Their words cut deep, their hands even deeper. Yet despite the pain, Mathias swore he would not become like them. He sought solace in books, immersing himself in knowledge. Every page turned was a step away from his reality. Every equation solved was a rebellion against his fate. He worked tirelessly in school, earning scholarships and recognition, but none of it impressed the people who raised him. The day he turned 18, he packed his few belongings and left without looking back. Life outside was not easy. Mathias worked multiple jobs, barely scraping by as he pursued his education. He spent nights sleeping in libraries, too afraid to waste money on rent when he could invest it in his future. The hunger, the exhaustion, the loneliness, none of it compared to the hopelessness he had felt growing up. At least now, he was in control of his own life. But the struggles only fueled his determination. He refused to let his past define him. Slowly, he built himself up, both physically and mentally. His once frail frame grew strong. His once timid heart became resilient. Years of discipline and hard work eventually paid off when he started his own business, a technology company that soon gained recognition. He was relentless, pouring his soul into his work. Every late night at the office, every deal he secured was a step further from the broken child he once was. Success brought him into new circles. Among them was Eleanor Ashford, a woman with a sharp mind and an even sharper business acumen. She was nearly the age of the people he had left behind, but unlike them, she was kind. She saw potential in Mathias where others saw an ambitious young man with too much to prove. When she proposed a partnership between their companies, Mathias was hesitant at first, but he saw in her a mentor, someone who genuinely believed in his potential. Their partnership flourished, and for the first time in his life, Mathias felt a sense of belonging. Their working relationship soon evolved into a friendship. Eleanor was unlike anyone Mathias had ever met, fiercely intelligent, yet warm. She reminded him of something he had never truly known, the comfort of family. She encouraged him to take breaks, to see life beyond his relentless ambition. He found himself opening up to her in ways he never had before, though he never spoke of his past. He didn't want pity, nor did he want to relive the horrors of his childhood. Then came the truth, a truth more harrowing than any nightmare he had endured. A journalist, investigating an old missing child case, uncovered evidence linking Mathias's so-called parents to something far more sinister than mere abuse. They were not his real parents at all. They had stolen him as a baby. The revelation shattered everything he thought he knew about himself. But the most shocking part was yet to come. His real mother was none other than Eleanor Ashford, the woman he had come to admire. The only person who had shown him genuine kindness was the mother he had been stolen from. The pieces fell into place. Why she had been so drawn to him, why their bond had felt so natural. Eleanor, who had spent decades searching for her lost son, had unknowingly found him in the business world. The weight of lost years bore down on them both, but there was no anger between them, only the sorrow of time stolen by cruel hands. Mathias confronted the people who had raised him, but they felt no remorse. They sneered at his outrage, claiming that they had given him a life better than he would have had otherwise. Their cruelty knew no bounds, but this time, Mathias had power. He had influence, and he would ensure they never hurt anyone else again. They were arrested, justice finally catching up to them after years of evading the truth. But for Mathias, the true victory was reclaiming his identity, his family, and his future. The transition was not easy. He and Eleanor had decades of lost time between them, wounds that couldn't be healed overnight. Yet, they both wanted to try. Eleanor introduced him to the family he had never known. Cousins, uncles, aunts, people who had grieved his absence for years. It was overwhelming, but for the first time, Mathias understood what it meant to be loved without conditions. Though their journey had been painful, Mathias and Eleanor found solace in their reunion. They were no longer lost to each other. And as Mathias stood at the helm of his ever-growing company, he knew he had finally broken free from his past. The scars remained, but they no longer defined him. He was Mathias Ashford, not a victim, but a survivor.